Pierre Poilievre here, coming to you from the Carleton countryside with a report to small businesses. As you know, our small businesses are collapsing. The COVID lockdown has meant that they've lost, in some cases, 100% of their revenues, while their costs keep piling on. As a result, the government brought forward legislation last week, an emergency package to help people of various sectors get through this hardship. They included one section providing a wage subsidy for businesses to help pay their employees. 2 days later, the Prime Minister made a public announcement stating what that wage subsidy would mean. He claimed that businesses would be eligible for 75% of the wage of their employees, up to about a maximum of $58,000. Here's the problem, though. He brought in a bunch of other conditions that are not legal under the law that his government passed just last Wednesday. For one, he said that businesses that can't afford to pay the first 25% of the wage would still be eligible for the 75% wage subsidy. The algebraic formula that his government passed into the Income Tax Act does not provide for that. So that's illegal. 2, he said only businesses with a 30% reduction in revenue would qualify. Well, that wasn't in the bill that they passed either. So that policy would also be illegal. He said all employers, big and small, would be eligible to apply. But the changes he passed into the income tax limited it to those businesses with taxable capital below $15 million. In other words, large employers would not be eligible under the law, even though he said everyone would be eligible. Furthermore, companies that trade on the stock market under the law would not be eligible, contrary to his statement that everyone would be included. So basically what we have is a prime minister who's making policy announcements that are illegal under the laws that he writes. And so today, he announced he needs a do-over. He wants Parliament to go back and pass another law 1 week after the last law that he wrote. We're asking the Finance Minister and the Prime Minister to follow a very simple, time-tested practice. Before you introduce a bill, read it. I did. That's how I found out that most of what the Prime Minister had announced was illegal and impossible. So now businesses will have to twist in the wind for another week while they wait for Parliament to resume and undo the legislative error done by this government. There is no longer any time to waste, Prime Minister. Businesses are literally on the verge of declaring bankruptcy now. They have zero revenues. They still have to pay rent, utilities, property taxes, and numerous other unavoidable expenses, not to mention that their employees have probably been out without pay for weeks. And you and your army of drafters in the Justice Department and the Finance Department and the Privy Council office, for some reason, cannot properly figure out how to write a bill to do what you say. Well, we cooperated with you. We helped you pass your economic package in just a few hours last week, even after you attempted an unprecedented power grab. We still came forward in good faith. This time, we will have to invest more time on the front end, examining the legislation you write to make sure you didn't screw it up again. All we're asking for is that you tell us what the policy is before you introduce the bill. That way we can make sure the bill does what you say it does. And then we can vote on it, and we can come to the rescue of our valiant and enterprising small businesses who put everything, including their own houses, on the line to employ people and serve customers. To those small businesses, know that we will fight for you, and we will work with this government, even as undeserving as it is, to get you the aid that you deserve so that we can bounce back stronger after this COVID shutdown is complete. Thank you very much for your faith. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will keep you apprised of the developments as we go forward. All the best. Pierre Poilievre signing off from the Carleton countryside.